top 5 reasons you are hard stuck and Nikke, the goddess of victory. Hey, what's up guys? I'm your host Cap, and today we're going to be going through why you're hard stuck and most likely you can fix this issue and catch up and push forward in the story campaign. So let's get straight into it. So number 1, equalizing leveling your units. This is probably the most important thing out of all of the mistakes that you could do in the game. Each chapter has a level check mechanic where you fight anti-spore units. These units are level check mechanics that will 3-shot your units if they're below the level requirement. Whatever you do, close your output defense, collect your dailies for your EXP. Make sure you do that. Also, collect your wipeouts, which just happens once a day. It's free once a day. Always make sure to do these two. From there on, you go to the synchronization. So make sure you go to your synchro device where you will equalize your leveling from everybody as you level up. Naturally, you will have to use SR units unless you got an SSR that's at least 2 stars. Because in case you didn't know, SSR units cap at level 80 at 0 stars. So therefore, you have to use SR units. They cap at 160 once they're max limit break, and they're very easy to get. Number 2, team composition setup and burst rotations. Team composition setup. So this is basically around you need to build a team that bursts every 20 seconds. A lot of teams I try to help out, most people set up their teams and don't realize that their team only bursts every 40 seconds, like this team right here. Emma's cooldown is 40 seconds and she's a burst 1 category. So Dala is a 20-second burst 2 category, and the next 3 units are burst 3 category units at 40 seconds. So therefore, this team loses about 1,250% of damage every 20 seconds. So in case you're wondering how to tell what your cooldown on your burst units are, you can basically check your units. You go to their burst, go to skill, go to burst. It will show their cooldown. This is set at 40 seconds. So you can go to a different character like Litter. That's pretty much a meta character. Cooldown is at 20 seconds. That means she will burst every 20 seconds for rotations. Now, there are ways to lower the cooldown to like 17 seconds and stuff, but that's a very specific niche and you need a good team for that. This is very simple to fix and very easy to build teams around. Top mistake number 3, God Squad versus full map coverage teams. If you have the God Squad, congratulations. You're going to die the first 15 seconds the second you enter chapter 9 maps. In case you didn't know, having the God Squad and the highest damage does not equal success in this game. You need to build at least 3 different teams, sometimes 4. It really depends if you got the units for 4 teams. So in terms of team setup, right here, I have 5 teams set up specifically. So this first team, this is the full map coverage team. These 2 characters, you're going to have to need at least 2 launchers to take care of wave clears in AoE. In case you didn't know, burst mode, most burst buff only lasts 5 seconds. So what do you do after those 5 seconds are over? You basically have 15 seconds to wave clear units without able to burst to do a screen wipe. So that's why you need 2 launchers in a full map coverage team. Now for team 2 is mainly for events so that you can get more rewards for it, so you farm better, right? In case you didn't know, the events has a bonus reward system. In case where you can get more rewards for using characters from the game. Right? As you know, Privity gives you 30%, Rapid gives you 10%, Ludmilla gives you 50% in the actual event that's happening. This will give you more rewards and farm faster and give you more stuff. Now, as for Team 3, it's a shotgun team I have specifically set up. This is good for Grave Digger Interception S. This is very specific for one boss only because that's where you're going to be farming a lot of your gears from. Now, I do not have the meta units such as Sugar or Maiden or Mary or Peppers for this. So therefore, I am going to be suffering a lot while farming for gears. Now, team number 4. So this is basically the bossing team, right? So basically, you put your strongest damage dealer in the team and punch out as much damage as possible. Whatever units you have to buff, support, debuff for your characters. And as for team 5, this team 5 is a high base damage full map coverage team. That means I have 3 DPS that are able to pull their weight to take down the boss, while my 2 launchers are able to wave clear. This is very important when it comes to pushing chapters where you're under power level. And then there's a 6th team, which is called the simulation team. Basically, you put 1 healer in the front and you let it autoplay. So in case you didn't know, and The whole simulations is basically an endurance fight. Therefore, if your character like Scarlet drops the HP to 20%, she will be at 20% on the next entry in the fight and simulations. Therefore, you want to keep her healed at all times and have a healer to be able to heal the comp and keep him afloat. Top mistake number 4, taking cover and using mechanics of the game that's provided for you. Chapter 7 is the beginning of where you have to manual everything, where you have to aim, you have to use your skills manually, and control your timings on when to use your burst modes. So the cover mechanic, in case you didn't know, you learned this in chapter 2 and 3 and probably never used it and only use auto from here. At this boss fight, you have to take cover, otherwise you are going to die in this boss fight, unless you're very overpowered, like 3000 power over. So in case you forgot how to take cover, as you look bottom of the screen, there is two swords on your character. Whichever character you are using for manual, there will be 2 swords. If you click this 2 swords, it will turn into a shield and all 5 of your units will take cover. And then specifically for this boss fight, you need to have your burst ready for manual before you burst the core down on this boss fight. If you set this on auto, you will burst too early and you will do no damage to the core and you will wipe out for the rest of the fight. As shown right here, I hold on to my burst mode, and once the boss comes up in front and the core shows up, I turn on my burst and able to burst the core down before she does the double laser mechanic. If all else fails and you fail to do all the mechanics, the boss will hit the enrage timer on this fight. Now, this is mainly for a multiplayer thing, for a raiding boss, for with your unions and your multiplayer stuff. The 5th top mistake that players will make: farming and gearing and upgrading everything. In case you're new to the game or new to RPG in general, you need to upgrade gear and upgrade augmentation cubes and everything else and skills. In case you didn't know, let's go straight to the character. Like a character like Scarlet, she has gear that you will need to upgrade here. So when you upgrade, you will have to use parts and stuff to upgrade with these. This will give you more power and more HP. A lot of people forget about this. Also, the fact that there's also skills to upgrade. When you need to upgrade skills, you just upgrade skills for everything else. As of right here, you can upgrade from there. It makes your skill more stronger and you do more damage with it. And as for augmentation cubes, it depends where you farm the stuff at. You will get augmentation parts when the more lost sectors you do. Now, this is practically a very slow grind. You probably won't be able to farm this until way later in level hundreds, and when you get to chapter 11 and 13 and so forth. Once you got all that and you've done all and you fixed all 5 mistakes and you're still hard stuck, then you actually are hard stuck. You hit the EXP gate wall. It doesn't matter how much money you spend. You can spend $100,000 in this game, you will get hard stuck eventually. All the rich people, the whales, they got the hard stuck in chapter 13 and chapter 14. They are hard stuck. They cannot go any farther because they are below power by 3k. No matter what, if you're below 3k power, you will hit the hard stuck EXP gate wall. All right, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.